and joining me tonight is Jess.
Hey guys, what's up?
And Nicole.
Yowdy.
And Mama Kay.
Jess is fresh from taking her cat out of the microwave, so yay, let's go team.
We almost got a fresh all the way down without you dropped the meowdy. That kind of got a chuckle out. Tonight we are doing a catch-up show, like we did a couple months ago. I guess it was like 2 months ago. Wow, that was 2 months ago. Time moves. Okay.
Time to catch up.
Yeah.
Time to catch
We're on
up.
vacation for like 3 weeks, Brennan. So
I know, but like it was whatever. It was 2 months ago, and we've seen some other stuff since then and done our usual reviews. But then there's also a bunch of things we see that like some of it's worth talking about, but only one of us is going to see it, and then some of it is maybe not worth doing a whole episode. But there's a couple minutes to talk about here and there, and that's what this is. We're here to catch up on all the stuff we've seen since we last spoke to you, and it'll be some new stuff for me. I don't know what the rest of you guys brought to the table here, but I went first last time. Does anyone want to volunteer before or to go first here tonight? Anyone want to offer something they brought to the table first?
I saw Tetris.
You saw Tetris. All right, Apple TV's Tetris, correct? I don't know if that's how people are calling it, but that's where
Tetris.
2023's Tetris. Okay, why don't
Yeah.
you talk? Anyone else see this? I don't think anyone else is.
No one else saw Tetris?
No one else is joining in on the product biopic. There was
We don't have Apple TV.
Yeah, we do. I think you do.
Oh.
We watched Severance. How else are we going to watch Severance? We watched Coda.
Severance.
Well, I watched Severance. You didn't watch Severance.
So my statement stands. I didn't know we had Apple
only has
TV.
Apple TV.
We watched Coda. Then that's on Apple TV. Whatever. I understand. Tetris. It's on Apple TV.
Yeah. Taron Egerton is the titular person of Tetris.
He plays
Tetris
Tetris.
Man.
He does not. Well, he does play Tetris. Yes, everyone plays Tetris, but there's not a person called Tetris. But I think it's the guy that he played sort of went and made a deal with this other guy who actually made the game of. It's all about who has the rights to Tetris, and they were talking. It was about the game handheld game rights of Tetris. This was like way before when Game Boy was just getting started. So
Labeled a thriller mystery?
Yeah, was it thrilling? I've heard it's like an espionage film, but it's about Tetris. I'm kind of like the.
It's a Cold War. Yeah, it's a Cold War espionage film. It's sort of like you're going to go. At one point, the Russian people, everyone goes to Russia because Russia has the guy who made it is there, and Russia has the rights to it, sort of, but not really. It's very vague. And at one point, the Russian bad guy, the big bad guy, is going from room to room, from one room to another, like interrogation room to interrogation room, trying to figure out what's going on. And it's like the weirdest. I don't know. It feels like a pre-Squid Game situation or something. It's very strange. Yeah, it's just a Cold War thing. I guess Taron Egerton is good in it. I'm not really sure. The character he plays is quite a character, so I'm assuming that this person.
Is he like Rocket Man?
He's not like Rocket Man. No, not at all.
Would you recommend Tetris?
Yeah, no. I mean, just play the game. I went to play the game afterward, and it wasn't as fun as I remember it being. So I think the movie might have spoiled the actual Tetris for me.
So, all right. So that is Tetris there. I don't know exactly where we're going to jump in. Jess, we got Tetris to start. Kind of a interesting thriller on a game.
First off, I thought Tetris was a game. I didn't even know it was a movie.
Well, everything's a movie now. There's Flamin' Hot Cheetos a movie. Shoes are movies. Everything's a movie.
Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
Yeah, Cheetos are movies. Like every
Hot Cheetos.
No one's bringing Flamin' Hot to the table today, I guess. Well,
I can't tell if you're being serious or not.
you guys don't know about the Flamin' Hot Cheetos movie? I guess I should have brought that as like
Is it like a TikTok thing?
No, I mean I'm sure it was on
'cause I know
TikTok
the
at
Cheeto
some
girl
point.
on TikTok, yeah.
There is a Flamin'. Okay, you know what? Maybe on our next catch up in April or something, someone will bring forward because that's on
Is that
Hulu.
what
I
these
think.
things are called? Catch-ups? When you were like, can we catch up? And I'm like, catch up? When do you...
She thought we were just going to chat.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I was like...
I just don't know how many things I have to explain sometimes. You don't know what a catch up is? Like you never had
now
like
it's Jess's turn. She's not sure what to talk about.
like is someone gonna bring the
Did I
mustard? Like what the hell? Like what I don't even know what's
I thought
happening
you just
right
wanted
now.
to hang out.
It's the hangout episode.
This is. We did do have a thing for the whatever. Anyway, you're
okay. So I really
recently?
only have two things to talk about because I think everything else I've talked about on the show. So I unfortunately saw Argylle, which there's nothing in the theaters right now, and the only two things that are worth seeing is Argylle and the Liam Hemsworth movie. And the times didn't work for Kyle and I to see the Liam Hemsworth movie, and we were like, well, we have to see Argylle. And I'm like, I made such a big fuss about how I'm never going to see this movie.
I know.
Are you not the only person who's seen
want to see the stupid cat, and now I have to face Brendan and tell him that I actually saw it.
Well, I don't really want to see it. Okay, did you ever end up seeing Argylle?
No, because nobody wanted to see it, so I was just like, meh, okay.
But
I didn't want to see it, and I ended up seeing it because there's nothing else to choose from.
That is
it's
very
so
funny.
bad. It's so bad.
No, I refuse to believe it. It's
Brendan,
the
you
cat
might
in the
actually
backpack.
think it's a so bad it's good kind of movie.
You think it's that bad? Like it's
I think
really
you'd
bad?
find
Like
it comical.
It's supposed to be comical, isn't it?
It's supposed to be, yeah.
No,
Like
but I mean, like, not in the plot sense, more in the, like, you're laughing at the movie sense.
like how baffling everything is. Like,
yeah.
What's the what can you describe? I mean, everyone we've talked about Argylle. It's a spy movie. Matthew Vaughn, he makes the Kick-Ass and the what other things he makes? He makes like teenage boy spy movies with like a bunch of splattery, comic-y kind of
Did you say
style.
Matthew McConaughey?
Matthew Vaughn. If I did, I didn't mean to.
Wait, what did I call him before? Mahogany?
You called him Matthew Mahogany before. That was way back. That was back when you were. That was Dennis Quad days.
Dennis Quad.
Matthew Mahogany. I never really cared for Matthew Mahogany. I just found him whatever.
Oh my god.
He wasn't even in Argylle,
No, so Argylle not good. Nothing redeeming about Argylle?
Nothing redeeming. Not even the cat.
Not even the cat.
The way that it meows when it's going over the bridge.
There's nothing about the cat and I love cats, and I'm just like, they
You
could have
do.
made that such a better cat. I don't know.
Such a better cat.
I don't even. So, watching the trailer, you think it's about this girl who's writing this book, and then she kind of finds out as she's typing it, it's happening in real life. That's what I thought the trailer was about. That's not even what it's really about. It's about this girl who apparently in like her past life was a spy, and then she got into a coma, and then she woke up and she remembered nothing about her life, and apparently she thought she was a normal girl with anxiety, and then the bad guys kind of adopted her and told her that they were her parents, and then she's kind of recalling what happened in the past. And then...
That is crazy. That's the plot of Argylle. I'm sure that's full of spoilers, but no one cares about Argylle.
And like figures out who she is, she turns into like this evil kind of like spy person.
This is Bryce Dallas
and
Howard,
so
the
her
redheaded.
writing her book is
right.
actually like her recalling her memory of being a spy. So it wasn't even what the trailer told you, but it was about.
She's Agent Argylle all along.
Yeah. No, her actually
It's
name
not
is
Henry
it's like
Cavill.
it's
No,
not
of
even
course it's not Henry
Argylle. Her
Cavill.
name is like, what is it? Like Rachel R. Kyle or something like that.
You're right, Jess. I might like this. This sounds terrible. This sounds really bad.
But that could be another Matthew Mahogany.
Oh, that's pretty bad sounding. I didn't know it was that. I didn't know. Oh, okay. Well, you've piqued
It
my
was
interest,
so
Jess.
bad.
Actually, I'm glad you said. Okay. What was the other thing you said? Since your call's been
Oh,
weird.
so the
just
only
in
thing that I've
case.
been watching on TV is The Sopranos because Nicole
Oh my
is
gosh.
yeah.
Oh.
I think I told you guys last time. So now we're in the middle of season 2, maybe season 2, episode like 6 or 7.
What are you thinking so far?
It's really, really funny. And I can't believe I would ever like a show
Funny?
that's 25 years old.
I know.
Because I would just assume it was just corny and hard to watch.
But it's good.
And sometimes, yeah, like the videography, you can't blame it. It's 25 years old. But like the writing is really good and the characters are really funny. And I'm like, if we could do this 25 years ago, why can't we do more things like this now? It's so good. It's so funny.
Wow. Look at that, Nicole. One of your recommendations going far.
Yeah.
People
I was
don't
just
want to
talking
watch smart
about-
stuff. That's why.
Yeah, definitely. I was just talking about wanting to watch it again because that's all I've been thinking about.
I would say, do we want to speaking of TV shows that were recommended on the last show, Nicole and I watched a TV show that was recommended on the last episode.
Oh.
Really?
We watched 2 seasons of a TV show that's a new one. It's on FX. It's called The Bear. We watched both seasons of The Bear. I didn't think you knew this one, okay? Because you were the one.
Oh.
You were the one
Yeah.
who suggested that.
Wait, did you even watch it? I thought you said you wanted to watch it.
We did this
Or
last time.
Did you actually watch it?
In the 2 months that between the catch-up episodes, we caught up on The Bear because it was recommended to us. And Nicole, what did we think? What did you like? Did you like The Bear?
Well, thanks for taking one of my things I was going to talk about because you have more things than me. So
I'm leading it in though.
Appreciate that.
Well, because it was a natural transition from The Sopranos, so I just took
It's
it.
a segue.
I jumped right on it, so I had to do it. Yeah.
That was one of the things I did say. I was toying between that and something else. I forget right now, but I have to say, I don't really like it.
What? We watched both
I-
seasons. I didn't realize you didn't like
Did not
it that
bring you
really.
into White Boy Winter. Come on.
I got no hints. I'm so a little surprised.
I love the premise. I love watching the bones of this restaurant and the heat and the arguments and the sassiness. I love all of that, but unfortunately, and I don't know how other people feel about this one character, I cannot stand the main girl sous chef, and I can't remember her name right now.
Oh, you
What?
don't like Sydney? Why not?
Sydney.
I love
Um,
Sydney.
I know. I figure most people did.
I don't know. You just like her so much. Yeah, I mean, I don't. There's some times where I think she messes up, but they all mess up like regular people.
Right.
I don't think that she fits with the vibe of the rest of the show. These people are like hardened and grotesque, and they are in like the
She's
depths
too posh
of
for them.
they're in like the depths of Chicago, where you expect to see a lot of these. And I'm just calling it because this is how they're portrayed. These sleazeball guys working in a shitty beef shop, right? Like that's what it is. And then to come in there and now they're like, okay, this is the place we're gonna make a Michelin star restaurant. I'm like, okay, there's already one in Chicago which they allude to a lot. I think it's called Alinea, and that's
You said it's called chlamydia?
Alinea. Not chlamydia.
With a K.
Alinea with an A.
Oh.
Do you know how to spell it, Brennan?
No.
Alinea.
Chlamydia.
And they allude to a lot of Michelin star restaurants around the country and around the world, which I really I like the gastronomy, and I like the food premise of the show, but it's just that's not going to happen in fucking little dinky part of Chicago. I'm sorry, it just doesn't make sense. But anyway, I don't like her. I love the idea of the show. I love the themes. She threw me off. Yeah,
I like the show much more. I liked it quite a bit, but the best episode is actually the one that she's not in. It's the dinner episode.
it is
the seven fishes dinner episode in the second season. That's like the best. You remember that, correct, Bob?
The
Okay,
the total
Yeah.
backstory of the whole thing. That's the best.
Yeah, that's my.
But why is she not in the episode? I can't.
It's
she
a
close-
It's a
flashback.
flashback.
It's
I don't
a
want
flashback.
to spoil too
Okay.
much, but yeah.
Oh,
it
you're
goes-
talking about the dinner, the home dinner.
the seven
Yeah.
fishes dinner.
Oh,
Yeah, not the
my
one in the
God,
restaurant.
yes.
No, the one
Yes.
With Jamie Lee
with
Curtis.
Jamie Lee
Oh, my
Curtis
God.
and Nathan For You and a bunch of
Yeah,
other people.
That's a brilliant episode. It's also
Jillian
I think, one of
Jacobs
the
in that.
longer episodes.
Yeah, it comes out of nowhere too. You don't
It
like because the
does.
rest of the show is not like that. The rest of the show is just regular, like what was it 8 or 10 episodes, and then what I think most about it is that the 2 seasons are so different, but it's the same
They're
people.
very different.
They're so different, but the same characters have to populate them feasibly. I think the second season's. I'm with Nicole. You have to stretch more as far as like it doesn't quite. It almost like the second season's almost another show with the same kind of couple of people, but then like some people have to like change who like
And
Richie has to change who he is as a character.
Yeah.
Like
the whole thing is that they
And John.
have this strict timeline to get this restaurant completed, but the timeline doesn't make sense of how long I call her Jeff because I don't remember her name, but the one that calls him Jeff, her new sous chef, like she and the other guy go to culinary classes and all these things are happening. It seems longer than what is available to us in this episodes. Like they are giving us like 7 weeks. I just can't imagine all these things happening in there. I don't know. The timeline doesn't make sense to me. I just feel like they pack a lot into this season. Seasons to try to make a point. The guy goes
to the Netherlands or whatever too. That takes.
Oh yeah. It's so much. Yeah. Where do they get all this fucking money? I know they got it from their family friend, but like there's a lot of upfront money to do.
It's in the tomato cans. It's in the
right.
It's in the cans.
Oh, that was actually kind of cool. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil too much about it, but I think we're being vague enough. But I would recommend The Bear both seasons. I would
over the second though.
I guess, but the best episode is in the second season, so it's kind of hard.
I get the appeal, though. It's a lot of cursing. There's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of activity. Like I like that. There's just little things about it that I was like, okay, I'm tired of these two interaction here, like stuff like that.
Have you seen The Bear?
Do you actually learn how to cook anything if you like watch them?
No.
No.
Because basically what they're doing is they're setting up the restaurant. There's a lot of like menu prep and stuff. And most of it is watching the trial and error of the menu. So it's not like they just, boom, make something amazing overnight. But still, that goes back to my timeline. How much time do these people have if they're building a restaurant in 6 weeks?
Yeah.
It's like 3 months. But you're right. It's very fast. But yeah. First
season, one other thing, the relationship piece with the main guy and the girl, I don't like that either.
Yeah, I don't like that either. That actually wrecked the second season for me.
Yeah, I did not care for that.
They didn't need it.
Who? Which one?
The relationship.
Between Bear and the doctor.
Yeah, I guess
they needed it for the ending.
Oh, yeah. I caught up on Poor Things. Poor Things, the one that she left on, Jess. You remember Poor Things? Up for a bunch of Academy Awards.
Oh, you saw it. I know you're gonna love it.
Yeah, it's great. Why didn't you like Poor Things? It's so good. Poor Things was amazing.
The fisheye thing was so annoying to look at.
He did it a lot. It was through a lot of Bobby K, did you see Poor Things on my recommendation, or no? Did you not?
I did not see Poor Things.
No one else saw Poor Things. Well, Poor Things is a Yorgos Lanthimos film, up for a bunch of Oscars. Like a dozen or so. I don't know. It's right up there with Oppenheimer. But it's director of The Favorite from a couple years ago, although that's a much more straightforward movie than this. Killing of a Sacred Deer, The Lobster, so makes fun, family-friendly. Easily
I felt that sigh from all the way over here.
Easily accessible movies. And it's...
Easily accessible, like... in thought or finding them on Netflix.
I mean, they are in theaters for quite a while, but it's more of a jest of how not normal his things are. So I will say about this one though, despite the world building is like intimidatingly strange to like look at, and there isn't really like a narrative drive, and the whole plot is just like the whole gimmick is Emma Stone, she dies at the very beginning, and she gets reanimated with her dead baby's brain. And so now it's a baby in Emma Stone's body, and then she grows up kind of quickly through the movie. And then we see, but it's in this weirdo, bizarro world. Stupid. But it's in this, really but it's in this bizarro world.
A baby's mind in a grown woman's body, and I think
it's like a Frankenstein thing.
There's so much sex in it, and I was like, all right,
there's a ton of sex in it. There's
with a baby?
I know it's a baby brain.
Like,
yes.
So she has a baby brain, and then she figures out what arousal is. So, like, the baby likes having sex because it feels good, and then you're just watching her have sex the whole movie. I thought it was
That's not. I mean, that's a little reductive, but yes, that is not inaccurate. That is, if you wanted to really boil it down to what's going on, that's all these guys.
Sounds like something up for an Oscar.
You got like Mark Ruffalo's hitting on her, and like this other guy, like they're all like, "Oh, she's so beautiful, she's so,"
I'm
and it's
super
like
grossed out right now.
but it's a toddler, like it's a little baby brain, and she
I don't like this.
So she like talks like a baby.
She talks like a baby.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And it's all the men are like really into this because they can it's Emma Stone, but with this but acting like a toddler, and they're like, wow, this is the perfect woman. And Willem Dafoe is like this. He's the father. He's like this creature man who has very funny belch.
Like
his belches are very funny. Anyone who hasn't seen the movie is like, oh, how could a belch be so funny? But
Jess, do you agree the belches are funny?
When he has little bubbles, his little burp bubbles,
No,
Jess, do you not remember?
Remember, I walked out in the middle of this movie. So
we might not have burped yet.
He was burping in the first couple scenes. I don't know how you wouldn't remember it. It's very there's some unforgettable things. I really liked it. It's definitely not like a regular mainstream person movie, but it's surprisingly engaging. Like usually those kind of movies, I can get bored by the meandering. I don't find this meandering. I'm pretty engaged in the whole story. It's very funny too. I laughed throughout constantly, personally. So, Poor Things, positive. And other big things caught up on The Flash. Anyone see The Flash from last year? Big superhero film. Anybody see that? No one saw The Flash.
Nope.
It's on Max
I've
now.
never even heard of it.
Ezra Miller stars, everyone's favorite, really good person.
I may have seen it.
By all accounts, Ezra Miller. And it's got the whole hook is it's another time travel multiverse thing. But this one's got Michael Keaton Batman coming back. So that's like who they got. And they have like a Supergirl in there. And it's
I did see this movie.
Yeah, so real quick, did you like Flash?
Memorable.
I don't think so. All I can remember is flashbacks of Flash, and I'm getting
there is a lot of flashbacks in Flash actually. So
yeah,
I watched it mostly because I heard Nick Cage was in it on the IMDb on Letterboxd, and I wanted to keep my Nick Cage streak going. So I was like, all right, I got to pad the stats, got to watch Flash. I'll give it a fair shake. It's a big budget movie. Maybe I'll like it. And honestly, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. It's moderately funny at sometimes. Like it's not coherent though. It's not like. It doesn't make, like, the plot's crazy, and, like, it gets really boring for, like, an hour. Zod comes back for Man of Steel, and I hate Man of Steel so much. I really dislike that movie, so anything that reminds me of that, no good. But it's not, like, quite as dumpster fiery as I was expecting. Like, it was kind of just, like kind of reheated. But, you know, you could do worse if you're scrolling on Max, and you've seen all the other superhero movies, and you didn't watch that because you're like, I'm tired. I don't want to watch these anymore. But, I don't know. You can do worse than Flash. And I'll do one more and then I'll hand back off to then maybe Nicole. I can tag you back in. Maybe that'll if you're okay with that. We'll see.
It's pretty underwhelming at this point. I was just going to rattle mine off and call it a day, but now you've hyped me up to something not worthy of what I'm going to say.
Maybe people are going to really be interested in the things you're going to talk about. Perhaps.
All right.
Next Goal Wins. Taika Waititi. We're going to do that as its own review probably at some point, right? Yeah, we don't have to though. It's on Hulu right now. It's on the American Samoa soccer team that lost 32-0 in a World Cup game in like 2000 or 2001 or something. Really embarrassing.
Oh.
They got annihilated, and their team's like historically bad for like decades, and they're terrible. And so they bring in the disgraced coach Michael Fassbender from wherever, and he's typical disgraced coach, grumpy, has a past, blah blah blah. And so ragtag group of Samoans and American Samoans and this guy, one of the main athletes is trans, so they do a thing with that. What other storylines are in this? It's like a kind of a TV movie. I was surprised because I got like a 40-something on Rotten Tomatoes. It's not that. It's not bad at all. It's much more like a TV movie. Like if it came out on Amazon Prime, maybe it would have like a 79%. Like it's moderately funny, but not like gut-busting funny. Like it's that Taika humor. It's funnier actually coming out of people from American Samoa, like his style of humor and his writing. It's funnier coming out of those people than some of the other characters it comes out of. So that kind of naturalistically flows, but like the Michael Fassbender character doesn't quite connect with everything, and like it just is. It's kind of like light. It doesn't really do anything. I guess people were probably expecting it to do something, maybe, but I don't know why you would. It's just Taika Waititi. He makes good stuff, but nothing groundbreaking.
You don't expect anything really to come from that.
I guess because he made Jojo Rabbit, people were like, wow, he can make a funny...
I was about to say that. I associate him with Jojo Rabbit.
There you go. So maybe people were like, oh, he made a funny Holocaust movie, so he's legitimate. But I mean, he's also made Thor: Love and Thunder. Like, so like he just makes whatever. Right. Like he just makes fun things. So middle of the road, Taika. Not as bad as I was expecting, but definitely better for a catch-up episode because I don't have anything more to say on it. There's like nothing to sink your teeth into. It's just 3.5 star fluff.
Well, I'm gonna watch that over Naked Sex Baby movie that you just recommended. So
yeah, soon to be Academy Award winning Emma Stone Naked
Sex Baby
Mark
movie.
Ruffalo and all kinds. Yeah, it's gotta.
Gross.
It's good.
Gross.
Nicole, any do you?
Oh, jeez.
I mean, we can go back to Mama K. I don't know if she has anything else, but
I'll wrap mine up.
Okay.
I was thinking about what to add to my list of things that I've watched, and really have been racking my brain because I literally cannot think of anything that I've watched. And I'm wondering what I've been doing with my time for the past 3 months.
I've been thinking about The Sopranos.
Yeah. I don't go on TikTok anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I really don't. But I guess I've just been watching a lot of YouTube as normal, and something that I've gotten really into recently, and this is like mid-level embarrassing, but I know I'm not the only one. I've been watching a lot of people at the casino playing slot machines. There's one person in particular, his name is Brian Christopher, and he does slot machine pulls and live streams playing slots, and he does like massive bets that I could never comprehend, and plays like $20,000 a night, and he goes 3 times a week, and I'm just absolutely enthralled by this, thinking that this person could make a living spending this much money. He's made it very clear that he doesn't pay taxes on this stuff because of the amount of losses that he has.
Wait, how can you not pay taxes on your
because
earnings?
the losses that he incurs outweigh the winnings, so it's like negated.
He probably runs it like a business that constantly takes losses, and so
they're part of his cost of business.
Yeah, so when he goes on a slot machine, he's like, I'm going to put $5,000 in this slot machine for 5 minutes of your entertainment, because that's literally how long it lasts sometimes. And then he'll put that on a line item at end of the year taxes, like my business lost $200,000 or whatever this year, and then he gets the sales of the merch or whatever. But yeah,
and it's not like just thrown together. Like he has a crew of people that work for him, and there's one guy that sits there and actually counts on a counter how many spins he's done so they don't overspin, and his husband is there and he watches and does something with the cameras. It's like an incredible thing. I'm jealous.
The casinos are like so okay about this.
Oh, well, even better. I'm glad you said. He has a sponsorship from a casino in Vegas, in downtown Vegas, where he has his own room at the casino with his branding on it. He has his own slot machine, he has merch, he has you name it, and that's another part of his income too, is all this merch and the sponsorship at this hotel. But it's incredible. It's something I could never do with the amount of money that he has, and I'm jealous, and I'm kind of like living through him, so it's fun.
Yeah, but if it's your job,
it's what?
If it's your job, and also I want to be on your team as like the spin counter or whatever, something easy. I don't want a hard job or anything. But yeah, if you're running it as a business, then
you would think it wouldn't be fun, right? Anything. But he said he loves it still. He can't wait to go back every day.
Probably because this is the actual part of his job. Like, behind all the logistics, I mean, he is just spinning a slot machine wheel over
His
and
kind
over.
of gambling addiction, kind of running the show.
Seriously.
And since I'm giving him such a free shout out right now, it's just the Plaza Casino in downtown Las Vegas. He only films and goes to smoke-free casinos in the country. So if it's not a smoke-free casino, you won't find him there. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been my new addiction is watching someone else's addiction. Go figure. That's pretty much what life is about.
Yeah, this actually, the whole point of this show, this is all a long con to get Nicole to admit on tape that she watches well, what have you been doing lately? I've been watching this guy on slots for a month, just like hours, just watching him play a slot machine for hours.
It's good.
Does he have like cool music in the background, or is
Not
it, like,
really?
casino?
They focus on the music of the machine. Really,
He has little
That's what the people wanna
catchphrases.
see.
He says, what's he say? He says, he wants a mother-sized wins. That's what is his phrasing. Mother-sized.
What?
It's a lot. It's a lot, and he
Yo,
needs
mama size.
he needs to pay us if we say any more.
We need him
I
to
watch-
sponsor us.
That's what I'm
Christopher
saying.
Slots is going to sponsor us next time. That would be a lovely.
I'll sponsor him too. I mean,
Yeah.
we could do this together.
It's a collab.
We have to pay to sponsor. We don't not on that end of
No,
the
it's a
of the
collab.
trade.
It's fine.
Oh, it's a collab. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, do we get t-shirts?
Is there a lot of crossover in our audiences? Maybe there is now. I suppose.
The movie Casino. Hello.
Is that smoke
It's
free?
perfect.
I don't think so.
I'm almost done. I watched one episode of SNL recently.
Oh wow! I didn't know that.
You were there.
Oh, okay.
It was the one with Travis Kelce on it. That was like maybe a week and a half ago. It was okay. The girl from The Bear was in it. I was like, oh fuck, I don't like her.
You're like, no, I can't get away.
I can't get away from her. She ruins everything.
And it was like the dumbest. It might have been a different episode, but anyway, yeah. I never watched SNL growing up or anything, so that was just it was kind of mid. And the other thing I've been watching recently, it is a show that's currently on. It's on every Tuesday. It's on Fox, so you know what kind of show it is. It's The Floor, hosted by Rob Lowe. It's a game show. It's a trivia game show.
Right after 3 hours
like
of Ryan Christopher Slots, it's time for The Floor with Rob Lowe.
It's just a trivia game show with a bunch of different categories, and people compete against each other. And then at the end, if they cover the most floor with their winnings, then they win the grand prize. So yeah, that's what I've been up to, and I don't know what else in my life because that's all
I feel
I've
like the
had.
trivia and the casino, this all has shades of like coming off the cruise.
Autism.
Just it's a lot of following the blinking lights and hitting buttons and like timing and like it's a lot. It's
High functioning autism.
yeah. So
Maybe we can collab with somebody else on that.
Oh my god.
Deep pool.
Yeah.
Deep pool of
Oh.
content.
God.
I have some more horror movie type movies, as well as a couple documentaries. But Mama K, did you have any other things on your catch-up list?
I have no other movies, but like Nicole, I have gone down a couple of rabbit holes.
All right, let's do a couple more rabbit holes, and then I'll wrap us up
things.
with some movies.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
There you go.
Because I have no other movies.
Wow, you guys really slack when I don't assign things. Because I was gonna maybe they're watching the free time, and Jess is watching Argylle. That's what's happening. Like that's the
Dude, I watched Tetris. I mean,
okay, well I know, but okay.
Yeah. I feel like I watched something else too that was 2.5 hours long, but I can't remember what it was, and your dad was not any help on that. So I got heavily into Harlan Coben things, which is British, not spy, but like mystery things. Fool Me Once. And
like
then,
an Idris Elba British mystery.
Yeah,
What was that
kind of.
TV show he did again?
But without Idris
Luther?
Elba, which if they
Yeah.
could just.
I never watched
I didn't
that.
watch
Is that good?
Luther.
Oh, I really like Luther. I watched it.
Oh, I could
It's
get
a good
into
airplay
that.
movie. Download it when you're gonna go somewhere.
They made Luther
Well,
a
that might
movie?
be
I
the
thought it was a
next-
TV show.
I'm sorry, TV show.
It is a TV show, yeah. And then we started talking about somebody was talking before. Oh, Argylle, where she lost her memory, and then she didn't know she had lost her memory. We just watched The Tourist, which has Jamie Dornan, and it features Australia, which makes me never in my life want to go to Australia because it's the outback and it looks terrible. It looks like the desert and awful. And he doesn't have his memory during the whole thing, and he's misnamed, sort of like Argylle. He's called a tourist, and he's literally not a tourist. He's, something else entirely.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so that's a good one. There's season 1 out now. They said they're going to do a season 2, but I hope they don't because it just ended perfectly. Pieces of Her, Toni Collette. I always like that. We're halfway through that, and that's a thriller.
I think I saw a preview to that. Remind me what that is about.
Pieces of Her. She's it's hard to describe because
that sounds like a show you two would talk like that'd be like a you two thing to talk about. Like that's one or
possibly.
Yeah. I feel like
she's in a witness protection program, and we just find out stuff every episode about her past and what's
Where
going
is
on.
it streaming on?
Pieces of Her is Apple, I think.
I'm confusing it with Pieces of a Woman with Vanessa Kirby from a couple of years ago. That's a good film.
I don't know what that is.
It's an okay movie, but she's very good in it. It's mostly boring, but the courtroom seems good.
And the big one is Traitors. Not like
Traitors?
trading something. Traitors.
Traitors with a D sounds like something I would watch.
Yeah, Nicole's watching Traitors. You're watching Traitors.
Right. Well, and everyone I've talked to that I've said I'm watching Traitors, they think I'm watching a show about like trading furniture with people or that kind of trading spaces, decorating. I'm like, no, Traitors. It's like people who are good and evil.
I'm watching Traitors. It's about the first 3 Tour de France's, so we're all watching Traitors.
Traitors.
What are you watching?
Those are great. And I can't wait for the next. There's one that's live right now. I can't wait for that episode. I've watched the British version. I watched the Australian version.
What is it about again?
American
I was just making jokes. I don't even remember what you said. It's Traitors?
Traitors. Yeah, it's reality TV, and 22 to 24 people get together, and they go live in this castle in Scotland, which is amazing. And 3 of them are chosen to be traitors, and the game is about whether or not a traitor can get to the end. They kill somebody every night.
Oh, it's like Who Done It.
Oh, it is like Who Done It. There you go. There's our next show, Nicole. You got
Traitors.
And
your dad was like upset that they didn't actually kill people, and I'm like, this is a reality show. They're not gonna.
He's gonna when the Hunger Games happens. He's gonna be like, finally, they're actually doing it. Like that's when he would finally
was
watch
saying
reality
that Squid
TV.
Game might be the one for him to watch if he wants to see people actually get killed.
They are making Squid Game the reality show. If they have, did they make that already? I have no idea.
Yeah,
they can't kill people though.
They don't really murder people, but like you do, like it's an endurance games, right?
Yeah, some of these things are like that too. There's the American one has like all people from reality TV, like the housewives and the people who are on Big Brother and Survivor, and those kind of people play it. So they're gamers, a lot of gamer type people. So
funny,
anyway,
the whole ecosystem of those people. There's like a whole there's some of
there
those people
totally is
that have been on like 12 different shows and like it's like they're across. Yeah, we'll do a whole.
The Road Rules Challenge has been on for 25 years, and the same guys are CT is still on it. I don't know how. He's got to be 60 years old almost.
Bruh, CT is on the Traitors.
Oh my god, I gotta watch it!
It's on the Traitors.
CT and Banana Man.
No one else is calling
like
it Traitors. Everyone else is just calling it Traitors, like regular people.
I know, but nobody knows what it is when I say Traitors.
Mm-hmm. Traitors.
Some other guy called Banana Man or something too is with him.
Traitors and Banana Man. Yeah.
CT.
It's like Joey Bananas.
Joey Bananas, that's him.
Oh, you actually know about these things. I don't. I feel like Jess right now. Is this what you feel like when we talk, Jess? Because I have no idea what the hell they're talking about.
Nicole, you have to start watching it. It's on Peacock.
I will.
Okay.
It's better than Brian Christopher Slots. So no offense, Brian, if you're listening.
I might have to check that out when I'm done here, though. Not gonna lie.
I'll close this out with some films then. I mean, I like that you guys are watching things and you have opinions on them. That's always nice to hear. But I'll close this out with a couple movies. Cat Person on Hulu right now. It is like a trashy romance stalker comedy. Yeah, okay. Nicole watched the ending half with me, so you can chime in on your thoughts. I thought it was
Greg from Succession's in it.
Yeah, so
Greg
Egg is in it, and so the whole Amelia Jones is the main character. She's the girl in Coda, another Coda reference on this episode. The one in the family that can hear.
Oh.
And she works at like a movie theater, and then one day Greg Egg comes in, and she hits up a conversation a little bit, like haha, not really, like a little bit. He gets her number, and they start texting, and they're like, oh, having a nice relationship, and then they go on like dates, and they don't have like their chemistry's weird and off, and like she keeps thinking like, oh, like there's something wrong with him, like is he like. She thinks he's like a stalker or like he might be like a murderer. Like she keeps having all these like visions of him doing horrible things. And then later on in the movie, we get him being like, she's so cool on this thing, but then I meet her and then she's not who I think she is. And she's like leading me on and sending me weird signals. And so I think it's supposed to be like a modern dating, like here's dating through an app and here's texting each other and then you meet in person and then you have such a weird, not chemistry relationship. I think that's supposed to be the point of it, but it plays more like it's much less tactful than I'm explaining. It's much messier and like stupider playing out. Like on screen, like the characters are much more heavy-handed with their actions, and I don't think I don't think it's very finessed. And then the third act, the part that Nicole saw, is probably the weakest part of the movie. Like it's so crazy that I don't want to spoil it for people who want to give it a chance. Cat Person on Hulu. It's not bad. It's got admirable things. It's just it's really missing the mark on what I think it wants to say about like a modern relationship thing. But do you have any thoughts on Nicole, the parts that you saw?
No, I thought it was kind of cheesy.
It wasn't quite as cheesy before you came. Like you came in the last 40 minutes or so, and it fell off the cliff a little bit. But Greg at one point does say he said in a sexy voice, he says "good girl." So that's not a great. You don't really You don't really want that. You don't want Greg from Succession saying "good girl" in sexy voice.
Who's Cat Person?
He is, I guess, technically.
Greg is, yeah.
Okay.
It's actually a good little thing. There's parts of this that are good. It's based on a short story that I read about a little bit afterwards because I was like, there's like parts of this that are really interesting, but like it's handled like sloppy. It's made by the woman who did the Spy Who Dumped Me, that Kate McKinnon, Mila Kunis movie. Yeah. So it feels like just like the wrong maybe the wrong team to bring this kind of, I don't know. There's something there, but kind of weird and bad. And then All Fun and Games, which has Asa Butterfield. I feel like people know him from something. And Natalia Dyer from Stranger Things, the girl with the cheekbones, the sister. And it's like a horror movie, and it's like Salem. And this is more of just a warning not to watch it. It's really it's undescribably bad. All Fun and Games on Hulu. It's like it has a couple like faces you'd recognize, but it's got like a weird voiceover, and it's like a student film put together. It's like there's a curse, and the kid gets cursed, and then the babysitter gets cursed, but like nothing happens. Like I don't know. It's pretty bad. So that's kind of more of a warning. Don't watch that one. And I'll close this out on a couple of documentaries. What do we got? We got, you know what? I'm going to scrap the documentaries. I was going to do the documentaries, but I'm going to do a different thing because the documentaries are not worth talking about. I'm going to end with Corner Office, movie we saw on the plane coming back. Nicole saw it with me, so she can talk about this briefly.
I thought we talked about that already.
No, I was telling you the plane movies we actually saw after we recorded the last one, because we recorded the last one before we went off. So we had not talked about Corner Office yet. A John Hamm movie. John Hamm, everyone likes him, right? Mad Men, tall gentleman, Don Draper. And so in this, he's like a office drone kind of guy, and he gets a new job at like this dimly dinky little office doing whatever. And the whole movie is pretty much a voiceover of him in his head, and we see him at his desk, and he's like, I take 55 minutes of work and 5 minutes of break time, and I'm doing all these strategies to get ahead of this coworker. This coworker does these things, and they annoy me. Like, it's very like that, like his inner monologue we hear. And some of it's kind of funny, like, oh, skewering office things. And then some of it's like, oh, like he's a crazy person that is overthinking everything. And the whole clutch, the Corner Office, is that there's a door, and he goes in it, and it's a corner office, like an old school, like 70s leather chairs, nice looking corner office from like an old school thing, like a Mad Men thing. And he's like, oh, this is a nice office. And he takes people to it, other coworkers, to like talk to them when they like irritate him, basically, to try to like get leverage on them, like to be like, I'm the one in charge here kind of thing. And you find out very quick in the movie, like 20, 30 minutes in, he's not taking them anywhere. He takes them to a wall and stands there staring at the wall, imagines a whole conversation, and then these coworkers have to go back to their desk and be like, this guy just brought me to a wall and stared there and thought he just had this thing with me. So he goes to, so you're like, what the fuck? And he goes to his boss, and the boss is like the boss is like a stereotypical asshole boss. He's like, I don't know, like, this is weird, like, I don't know what's going on here. And you find out, like, all the coworkers are right, and John Hamm really is a crazy guy. But John Hamm does a pretty good job. So the boss is like, we're just going to keep him around, and he's not bothering anyone, so just let him keep going, doing this. I'm describing it, and it makes it sound interesting, right? Nicole, was it interesting? Was corner office interesting?
You lost me.
You gave a very detailed description here. It's about basically a guy who envisions things that are not there, and it creeps everybody out, and nothing's being done about it. Really, that's it.
I needed to add the other context, though, that it's like it's presented in a way that until that 30-minute mark, you're supposed to be
it's rather boring. It's rather boring.
It is, unfortunately, after the reveal. Because for some reason...
You fucking talked about that whole thing just to agree that it's boring?
Because but doesn't that sound like an interesting lead up? Like, oh, he takes them to this room, and he's like, oh, like, well, it's like, what, like, what's going on? Like, what, is he really imagining things? But they tell you right away, he's imagining things that everyone else is not, and then the movie goes on for another hour, and you would think,
how does the movie go on?
Well,
that sounds crazy.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
we just find a way to do that.
Jesse sounds so disappointed. Like, you said that with pain in your voice. They just find a way to keep going. No, like I agree. This would have been better. This probably would have been a better short. But it is that kind of like, ooh, I do want to see what happens next. Like, oh, he's this crazy guy,
and
but
nothing happens.
Is the problem? Is they don't know. They have nothing to say about that. They're like, oh, what if the crazy guy kept working and it was John Hamm? So it's like, you know, he's a big guy. They make him un-John Hammy in this. Like, they try to make him not like suave, like, but he's still huge. He's enormous. So it's very, it's a misfire. But it was, I don't know. There's something, again, it's like the other one. There's something there that I'm like, I wish something was different here that made it better. But it's not quite. It's half baked. So. Corner Office. If it's on streaming, you could do worse, but you could do better. And I'm gonna save the documentaries because they're not really that interesting. We're running low on
one that I forgot.
Oh, okay, please, Jess. I thought your call would have dropped by now.
You guys both recommended Elemental. I did watch Elemental.
Okay.
I don't think I liked it as much as you guys did. I still think Soul and Inside Out probably beat that on the scale of Disney movies. But I did really enjoy it, and I thought it was.
Would you watch it again to give it a second chance and maybe see things that you missed?
Yeah, I would watch it again.
Because we both didn't not love our first watch, but definitely rewatches were. I mean, it just kept getting better every time, and then I was like, oh, I don't want to turn it off. Like, you know,
it's cute. I liked it a lot.
It's interesting that you liked Inside Out because. I think the rest of us, we've all done the Pixar shows. Jess, you're not usually on those, but none of us are big Inside Out fans. Like,
no,
really, I loved Inside Out.
That's so. When we do Inside Out too,
I haven't watched it in a while though. Maybe I should rewatch that. Maybe I don't like it as much as I remember.
No,
I remembered.
Oh no, Soul is amazing.
Soul is above.
Yeah.
I wasn't making you try to re-guess your opinions. I was just like, it's interesting.
I hate it.
It was interesting. We always talk about the other three of us are always the Pixar crew, and Inside Out's a liked Pixar movie by most, but none of us are ever there to defend it because none of us have the reverence for it. But Inside Out 2 coming out sometime soon this year.
Yeah, I remember seeing trailers for it.
All right, well, we'll have to.
Everything's been trailered for 2 years.
Yeah, that's good. Another reason why we're doing catch up because we could do a full episode on Argylle if you'd like. I mean, I don't really think all the things I just talked about. I said everything I want to say, and I got to only spend 3 or 4 minutes on them because
I could talk about the Traitors all night. Just saying.
You can talk about.
Well, I'll watch some, and then we can get together again.
Yeah, maybe on our
I'd rather
next.
watch the guy playing slots.
Brian Christopher. maybe on the next episode we'll have all watched, just like this time. We'll have watched some of the other things the others saw, and we'll catch up on the next things. In the meantime, if you have things to recommend to us for full episodes, which will be coming right back around beginning of March, right after this, Films with Women in My Life on Facebook. Reach out to me on Instagram. I'm Brennan_podhost, where as of this recording, the tournament's still going. We're in round 2, I think. Maybe round 2's wrapping up right now. I think everyone's in it, except maybe Jess. I don't really think... don't know if Jess is... I think Jess is actually the weak link in the group this year. I think everyone else has got quite a few movies. But... Anyway, Brennan_podhost. That's where the tournament is. And if you have things to recommend to us, Films with the Women in My Life, filmswiththewomen@gmail.com. That's the email address. So thank you guys for catching up with me. Jess, we can catch up in real life. That's fine. We can. I didn't know you meant. You got to check which group. You got to check which group chat it's coming from, so you know which kind of catch up I mean. So
yeah, I still need to get my present.
I know
we do. We have your gifts from our trip from Antarctica, but we haven't. Yeah, no, they're. Yeah. Until next time. This is Brennan signing off, saying thanks for listening and enjoy your movies.
Thanks for listening to Films with the Women in My Life. If you enjoyed being a listener in our life, please rate and subscribe on Apple Podcasts or on your favorite podcast app. Keep up with the latest from the show on Instagram at Brennan_podhost, on Facebook at Films with the Women in My Life, and on Twitter at FilmsWomenPod. Finally, you can email the show with questions and suggestions at filmswiththewomen@gmail.com. Original music for the show was created by Ian Burke and Chris Iwanek. Original artwork created by Nicole D'Alessio. This show is produced by Brennan Snyder. Thank you again for listening, and enjoy your movies.